You've got to be absolutely kidding me right now. WWE just pulled off the most disgraceful booking decision I have ever witnessed in my entire life covering this company. Jade Cargill just captured her second championship, and I'm telling you right now, this is the final nail in the coffin for everything we thought we knew about earning your spot in professional wrestling. Before you start typing your angry comments calling me a hater, I dare you to watch this entire video because what I'm about to expose will make your blood boil. And if you think I'm exaggerating, hit that subscribe button right now because you're going to want to see the receipts I'm about to pull out. This is WWE Reporter, and we're about to discuss the most controversial title win in modern WWE history. Let me paint you a picture of what just went down. Jade Cargill, the woman who's been with WWE for barely over a year, just captured her second championship. Her second. Meanwhile, there are women in that locker room who have been grinding for 5, 10, even 15 years who can't even get a sniff at championship gold. Are you starting to see the problem here? Because if you're not, you need to wake up and pay attention to what's happening right in front of your eyes. Now before the Jade Cargill defense squad comes rushing into my comments section, let me be crystal clear about something. This isn't about Jade as a person. This isn't about her look, her athleticism, or her potential. This is about a system that's fundamentally broken. This is about WWE once again proving that if you have the right look and the right connections, you can leapfrog over decades of hard work that other wrestlers have put in. And you know what the worst part is? They're not even trying to hide it anymore. Think about this for a second. When Jade debuted in WWE, she couldn't cut a promo to save her life. Her ring psychology was non-existent. She had maybe 50 matches total in her entire career before getting pushed to the moon in AEW, and now WWE is doing the exact same thing. They saw her Instagram following, they saw her physical presence, and they said, you know what? Who cares about ring work? Who cares about storytelling? Who cares about paying your dues? And that mentality is destroying this industry from the inside out. Let me take you back to how this all unfolded because the way she won this title is going to make you lose your mind. We're talking about a match that lasted less than 8 minutes. 8 minutes. Do you know how long Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch went at Evolution? Do you know how long Sasha Banks and Bayley fought in Brooklyn? Those women went to war for 30+ minutes to create magic. But Jade Cargill? 8 minutes and she's a double champion. The disrespect is absolutely staggering. And here's where it gets even more infuriating. The person she beat? A credible, established champion who had been building momentum for months. Someone who actually knows how to work a match longer than 5 minutes. Someone who can carry a microphone segment without stumbling over every third word. And WWE Creative just fed her to Jade like she was nothing more than an enhancement talent. They might as well have brought out a jobber from main event because that's essentially what they turned a champion into. The finish of the match is what's going to have people talking for weeks, and not in a good way. They had Jade hit her jaded finisher, a move that, let's be honest, looks more like she's gently placing someone on the mat rather than delivering a devastating maneuver, and it was over. Just like that. No near falls. No drama. No suspense. Just a basic squash match that completely buried the previous champion and everyone she had defeated to get to that point. Do you understand how many wrestlers that booking decision just disrespected? It's not just one person. It's an entire division. Now let's talk about what this means for the women's division moving forward because this is where things get really dark. You have women like Shayna Baszler, a legitimate fighter with an MMA background, who can't get consistent championship opportunities. You have Ivy Nile, who's one of the best pure athletes in the entire company, sitting in catering. You have Chelsea Green, who reinvented herself and got herself over despite WWE's best efforts to keep her down, and she can't sniff the title picture. But Jade Cargill? She's getting her second title in a year. Make it make sense. I'm begging you to make it make sense. And before anyone says, well, she draws money or she's a ratings mover, show me the receipts. Show me the documented proof that Jade Cargill moving up the card has resulted in increased viewership or ticket sales. I'll wait. Because from everything I've seen, the data doesn't support this push at all. What we're seeing is Vince McMahon booking philosophy still alive and well even with Triple H running creative. It's the same look over substance mentality that's plagued this company for decades. The wrestling community is absolutely exploding right now on social media. Twitter is on fire. Reddit is melting down. Facebook groups are in complete chaos. And you know what? WWE is probably loving this because controversy creates conversations, and conversations create engagement. They don't care that fans are legitimately upset. They don't care that this booking makes no logical sense. All they care about is that people are talking, and as long as we're talking, they think they're winning. But here's what they don't understand: there's a difference between good heat and "I'm changing the channel" heat. Let me read you some of these comments from fans because they're savage right now. One person wrote, "I just cancelled my Peacock subscription. If this is the direction they're going, I'm done." Another said, "This is exactly why AEW is winning the wrestling war. At least they respect their audience's intelligence." And my personal favorite, Jade Cargill, is what happens when WWE creates a character on easy mode with all the stats maxed out. These aren't just random haters, folks. These are people who love wrestling and are watching the product they're passionate about get destroyed by incompetent booking decisions. Here's what makes this situation even more problematic. WWE has been trying to position themselves as this progressive company that values women's wrestling. They created the Women's Evolution. They main event WrestleMania with women. They talk constantly about breaking barriers and giving opportunities. But then they turn around and do this? They take a woman who hasn't earned her spot through years of grinding and they just hand her championships like they're participation trophies at a kid's soccer game. That's not evolution. That's devolution. And let's address the elephant in the room that nobody wants to talk about because everyone's terrified of being called names on the internet. Jade Cargill's push has nothing to do with her in-ring ability and everything to do with her marketability outside of wrestling. WWE wants her on talk shows. They want her in magazines. They want her as the face of the women's division for corporate partnerships. But here's the problem with that strategy: wrestling fans aren't stupid. We can see through the corporate synergy nonsense. We know when someone is being pushed because of their wrestling ability versus when they're being pushed because of how they look in promotional materials. The comparison that everyone's making right now, and rightfully so, is to Brock Lesnar. But here's the difference: when Brock came to WWE, he was an NCAA Division I wrestling champion. He had legitimate credentials. He was a freak athlete who could back up everything the company said about him. Jade Cargill has a fitness background and looks incredible, but that's where the comparison ends. You can't just slap someone in wrestling gear and expect them to carry a division because they have muscles and a million Instagram followers. What's going to happen next is predictable and frustrating. WWE is going to keep Jade in this championship position for months, possibly even until WrestleMania. They're going to feed her every credible challenger they have. She's going to squash them all in under 10 minutes. And the entire women's division is going to suffer because one person who hasn't paid her dues is blocking the spot that 5 or 6 more deserving wrestlers could be occupying. That's not fantasy booking. That's pattern recognition based on decades of watching this company operate. You want to know what the saddest part of all this is? Jade Cargill could have been developed into something special. She has all the physical tools. She has the look that WWE desperately wants to feature. But instead of taking their time, instead of letting her develop her skills in NXT or on main event or in house show loops, they rushed her to the main roster and immediately put her in title contention. And now she's in a position where she's going to get destroyed by the wrestling community every single week because she's being pushed beyond her current skill level. Think about how other wrestlers were developed. Think about how long it took someone like Bianca Belair to get to the championship level. She spent years in NXT perfecting her craft. She worked house shows. She developed character depth. She learned ring psychology. And when she finally got to the main roster and won her first championship, it felt earned. Nobody could say she didn't deserve it because she had put in the work. That's how you build a sustainable star. But WWE has completely abandoned that model in favor of instant gratification and social media metrics. The wrestling business has always had a certain code of conduct. You pay your dues. You learn from veterans. You work your way up the card. You prove yourself in different situations. And then, if you're good enough and lucky enough, you get your shot at the top. But that code has been completely shattered in the modern era. Now it's about who has the most followers, who has the look that translates to mainstream media, and who can generate the most Instagram engagement. Is that really the direction we want professional wrestling to go? I've been covering WWE for years, and I've seen a lot of questionable booking decisions. I've seen part-timers come back and immediately win championships. I've seen celebrity guests get more TV time than full-time roster members. I've seen promising careers get completely derailed by nonsensical creative. But this Jade Cargill situation might be the worst example of all those problems combined into one catastrophic booking disaster. It represents everything wrong with modern WWE in a single storyline. And here's what's going to happen in the comments section of this video. The Jade Cargill fans are going to accuse me of being a hater. They're going to say I'm jealous. They're going to claim I'm racist or sexist or whatever other accusation they can throw at the wall to see what sticks. But let me be absolutely clear, this has nothing to do with Jade as a human being. This is about a system that values the wrong things. This is about a company that claims to care about wrestling but continuously proves they care more about marketing and Instagram metrics. If you've watched this far, and I genuinely appreciate you sticking with me through this rant, hit that like button right now. Smash that subscribe button. Turn on notifications because we're going to continue covering every single controversial decision WWE makes. And believe me, there are going to be plenty more where this came from. Drop a comment below telling me if you agree or disagree with this take because I want to hear from real wrestling fans who actually care about the product. The future of WWE's women's division is in serious jeopardy if this is the direction they're committed to. You can't just keep feeding talented workers to someone who isn't ready for that spot. Eventually, the audience is going to stop caring. Eventually, those other wrestlers are going to get frustrated and potentially leave for other companies where their work is actually valued. And eventually, even the casual fans who don't pay attention to backstage politics are going to notice that the matches aren't as good as they used to be. This is WWE Reporter, and I'm telling you right now, this Jade Cargill title win is going to go down as one of the most controversial moments in WWE history. Share this video with every wrestling fan you know. Let's get this conversation started across the entire wrestling community. Because if we don't speak up about terrible booking decisions, WWE is never going to change. They're never going to learn. And the product we all love is going to continue deteriorating until it's completely unrecognizable. Sound off in the comments. I'll see you in the next one.